My wife Jen announced her pregnancy at the company dinner, and her coworker Dave smirked. "How does it feel, man? Finally gonna be a dad?" I smiled back, because I'd been secretly infertile for 10 months, and that paternity test was about to destroy both their lives. This spans 18 months, gets dark as hell, but ends with hope. Buckle up. Per the rules, all names are changed. Tom Mitchell, 33. Jen Reed Mitchell, 31. Married 8 years. Spent 5 of them trying to have a baby. Doctor visits, fertility treatments, tears, hope, disappointment, repeat. We'd built what I thought was a solid life, a partnership. Or so I thought. Jen was my college sweetheart, 8 years together. We built a home in the suburbs, planned our future family. She was my best friend, my partner, my everything. 5 years of failed pregnancy tests had tested us, but I thought we were strong. Was. The life we built. We met in 2015 at a marketing conference in Chicago, one of those boring industry events where everyone's half paying attention to PowerPoints and half checking their phones. Jen was presenting on social media strategy. I was in the audience. I was supposed to be taking notes for my boss. I didn't take a single note, just watched her command that room for 40 minutes. Asked her to coffee afterward. She said yes. We talked for 3 hours. Missed our afternoon sessions, didn't care. Married 2 years later, 2017, small ceremony at a vineyard upstate. Her idea. I would have married her at a courthouse. She made everything better just by being there. We bought a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs. The 3rd bedroom was for the nursery we kept repainting for when it happens. Started with yellow, then gray. Then that trendy mint green Jen saw on Pinterest. Each time we repainted, we told ourselves, this is the year. It never was. I'm the kind of guy who plans everything. Spreadsheets for groceries, calendar alerts for anniversaries. I research purchases for weeks before buying. When Jen cried after negative pregnancy tests, I'd hold her and say, next month. Every single time. I meant it every single time. I worked as a marketing manager, steady job, decent salary, $98K a year. Played basketball on weekends with college buddies. Grilled on Sundays. Read before bed. Normal guy living a normal life. We had a Friday night tradition of cooking together. She'd handle the main course. I'd do sides and dessert. We'd drink wine, laugh at our kitchen disasters, dance to whatever playlist she'd made that week. We were happy. Or I thought we were. The first crack March 2023, the beginning of the end, though I didn't know it yet. Jen started a new role at work, HR coordinator at Tech Vision Solutions, a mid-sized tech company about 30 minutes from our house. She was excited. New challenges, better pay, $72K to start with room to grow, actual career progression instead of being stuck as an assistant. There's this great team, she said one night over dinner. Everyone's so supportive. My manager Dave is amazing, really mentors his people. Dave. I'd hear that name a lot over the next few months. At first, it was professional. Dave says we should restructure the onboarding process. Dave thinks I should get certified in conflict resolution. Dave recommended this great podcast about workplace culture. Then it became personal. April came and the shift was subtle. Dave's going through a rough patch with his wife. Dave understands what it's like to feel underappreciated. Dave actually listens when I talk about the baby stuff. That one stung. Did I not listen? But I didn't say anything. She was finding her footing at a new job. It was natural to bond with colleagues. I'd done the same thing at my company, had lunch with coworkers, vented about my marriage when things got hard. It was normal. Except Jen started staying late at work. Once a week became twice. Twice became 3 times. Then it was normal for her to text me at 6 p.m. Big project, gonna be late, don't wait up. I'd ask about the project. She'd be vague. Just boring HR stuff, policy updates. She'd wave her hand dismissively. You'd be bored to death if I explained it. By May, her phone was surgically attached to her hand, texting during dinner, taking calls in the other room. I'd hear her voice change, lighter, happier, when certain people called. When I asked who, she'd say work stuff or Sarah. Sarah Johnson was her best friend from college. I'd known Sarah for years. This didn't sound like Sarah conversations. I started noticing the smile, this specific smile when she'd read certain messages. Not her normal smile, something different, secret, like she was in on a joke I wasn't part of. June hit different. She started dressing better, new clothes I didn't recognize, spending more time on makeup on random Tuesdays, wore this perfume I'd never smelled before, something expensive, floral, not her usual scent. You look nice, I'd say. Oh, thanks. Just felt like making an effort. For who? But I didn't ask, because asking meant admitting I was suspicious. And being suspicious meant I didn't trust her. And not trusting her meant our marriage had problems. And I wasn't ready to admit that. July was when the intimacy stopped. We'd been trying for a baby, right? That meant scheduled sex, ovulation tracking, the works, romantic as a dentist appointment, but it was our routine, our hope. Suddenly, she was too tired, too stressed. Not tonight, babe. In bed, she'd turn away from me, build a pillow wall between us. No more cuddling, no more goodnight kisses. We became roommates who occasionally ate dinner together. When I asked what was wrong, she'd snap. Nothing's wrong, Tom. Stop being paranoid. Paranoid. That word stuck with me. Was I? Or was I just noticing what had always been there? August 28th, 2023, Thursday night. This is the night I knew. Jen came home at 10:35 p.m. I was on the couch, pretending to watch TV, actually watching the clock. How was the team dinner? I asked. Casual, normal. She froze, just for a second, barely noticeable, but I noticed. What? The team dinner. You texted me you had a team dinner tonight. Oh, right. Yeah, it was good. Where'd you go? That Italian place downtown, Marino's. I'd driven past Marino's at 8 p.m. picking up Thai food. It was closed for renovation. Big orange sign on the door, construction tape across the windows, impossible to miss. My heart started pounding. How was the food? Good. You know, Italian food. She wouldn't look at me. Kept her back turned, hanging up her coat. What did you order? Pasta, the usual. She hated pasta, gluten sensitivity. I'd watched her avoid bread for 3 years. That's when it hit me like a freight train to the chest. She wasn't at a team dinner. She was with someone, and she just lied to my face about it. My hands started shaking. I felt cold, like someone opened a window in my chest and let winter in. Couldn't catch my breath, just these short, shallow gasps. You okay? Jen asked, finally turning around. You look pale. Yeah, just tired. Think I'm coming down with something. I went upstairs, locked myself in the bathroom, turned on the faucet so she wouldn't hear me hyperventilating, splashed cold water on my face, looked at myself in the mirror. I looked like a stranger, pale, eyes wide, scared. By morning, I knew something was very, very wrong, and I was going to find out what. The investigation, I spent the next week pretending everything was normal, kissed her goodbye, asked about her day, cooked dinner, watched TV together, went through the motions. But I was digging. I did what any suspicious husband would do. I Googled it. Signs your wife is cheating. How to catch a cheater. Infidelity proof. Fell down a rabbit hole. Reddit threads on our surviving infidelity. YouTube videos about investigating affairs, articles about spy apps and GPS trackers. Someone's detailed PowerPoint on evidence documentation for divorce court. I felt disgusting, like I was the bad guy for not trusting my wife, like I was invading her privacy, crossing lines, becoming someone I didn't recognize. But that restaurant was closed. She lied. If she lied about that, what else? September 1st, I started with social media. Logged into Facebook at 2 a.m. while Jen slept next to me. Scrolled back through her posts from the past 6 months. Every post, every comment, every tagged photo, there was a pattern. Her team events photos, group shots from happy hours, company picnics, offsites, and in half of them, standing just a little too close, there was this guy, Dave Collins. Tall, good looking in that polished corporate way. Late 30s maybe, designer glasses, that practiced sales director smile. His arm around her waist in the company picnic photo from June, her head leaning toward his shoulder. His wife, Amanda, wasn't in the photo. Actually, Amanda wasn't in any of the recent photos. I clicked on Dave's profile. Sales director at Tech Vision Solutions. Married. 2 kids. Tyler, 6, and Emma, 4. Last Christmas photo showed the perfect family. Dad in a sweater. Mom in a red dress. Kids in matching outfits. American dream. But recent photos? Group shots from team events. Jen in half of them. Always next to Dave. Comments that seem too familiar. Inside jokes. Looking great under her selfie from last week. You deserve it. Under her promotion announcement. Too many interactions. Too familiar. I tried to friend request him. See his full profile. Already blocked. Why the hell would I be blocked by Jen's coworker? Someone I'd never interacted with online. Someone I'd never even met. Unless he knew exactly who I was. Unless he knew he was fucking my wife. September 3rd. Phone records. We're on a family plan through Verizon. I'm the account holder. I logged in from my laptop while Jen was at book club. She doesn't read books. Pulled up 3 months of data. Call logs. Text message timestamps. Holy shit. Starting in April, a number I didn't recognize appeared. Every day, multiple times a day. At first, maybe 10 texts a day. By June, it was 50. By August, over 200 texts daily. Calls too. At 11 p.m. while I was asleep in bed next to her. At 6 a.m. before I woke up. During her lunch break. During my weekly basketball games. I ran the number through a reverse lookup site. $15 for a full report. David Collins. Age 35. Sales director at Tech Vision Solutions. Address 12 miles from our house in a nicer neighborhood. There he was. But the phone records only showed timestamps and frequency. Not content. I needed to read the actual messages. That's when my buddy Mike, IT security guy from college, told me about cloud syncing. If her phone backs up to iCloud and you have her password, I had her password. We'd shared it years ago for the Find My iPhone feature. Apple's 2034. She'd never changed it. Why would she? We trusted each other. Or we used to. September 5th, 11:30 p.m. I logged into her iCloud account from my laptop. Jen was asleep upstairs. I was on the couch, laptop glowing in the dark living room. Clicked on messages. And there it was. Everything. 6 months of conversations, thousands of messages, photos, plans, promises. I started reading. April 15th. Dave, lunch was amazing. We should do that more often. Jen, definitely. I had so much fun. Tom never wants to try new restaurants. May 2nd. Jen, can't stop thinking about yesterday. Dave, me either. When can I see you again? Jen, this weekend, Tom has his basketball thing Saturday morning. June 8th. Dave, you looked so beautiful today. Couldn't take my eyes off you in that dress. Jen, stop. You're making me blush. Amanda doesn't notice when you look at her like that. Dave, Amanda stopped looking at me years ago. June 23rd. Jen, I feel so guilty. Dave, don't. We deserve happiness. They don't appreciate what they have. July 11th. Dave, I can't stop thinking about Tuesday night. Jen, me either. That was... Dave, amazing. You're amazing. I've never felt this way. Jen, I love you. Dave, I love you too. I stopped breathing. Read it again. I love you. I love you too. Not I care about you. Not I really like you. Love. My wife loves someone else. I kept reading, couldn't stop, like watching a car crash in slow motion. August 3rd. Jen, what are we doing? This can't keep going like this. Dave, I know. I want to be with you. Really be with you. Jen, what about Amanda? The kids? Dave, I'll figure it out. Just give me time. August 19th. Jen, Tom's getting suspicious. He asked about my phone password. Dave, did you tell him? Jen, no. I said work requires it now. He believed me. Dave, he's clueless. Don't worry. Clueless. That word sat in my chest like a stone. August 28th, the night she said she was at Marino's. Dave, room 412. I'm here. Jen, on my way. Told him I have a team dinner. Dave, can't wait to taste you. I slammed the laptop shut, ran to the bathroom, made it just in time to vomit into the toilet. Everything from dinner came up, then just bile. Then nothing, just dry heaving. I sat on the cold bathroom tile I'd installed myself 2 summers ago. In the house we bought together, that we painted together, that we were supposed to raise our kids in together. And she'd have been fucking someone else for months, in hotels we couldn't afford. While I was home, waiting for her, believing her lies, trusting her, clueless. I heard Jen's footsteps upstairs. Tom, you okay? I flushed the toilet, turned on the sink. Yeah, just stomach bug. Must have been something I ate. Want me to get you anything? No, go back to bed. I stayed in the bathroom for another hour, sitting on the floor, staring at the wall, processing my wife was having an affair with her coworker Dave. For at least 6 months, maybe longer, they were in love. He was going to leave his wife. She was planning to leave me, and I'd had no idea. Clueless. The transformation for the next 6 days, I was a ghost. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Lost 8 pounds that week. Jen noticed. Are you okay? You look terrible. Just that stomach bug. Can't shake it. Maybe you should see a doctor. A doctor, right. Because medicine could fix the fact that my wife was in love with someone else. I'd look at her making coffee in the morning, humming some song, and see a complete stranger. This woman I'd given 8 years to, who I'd held through negative pregnancy tests, who I'd promised we'll get through this together, who was planning a future with someone else, who wanted his baby. September 11th, something shifted. Day 6 after the discovery. I wasn't sad anymore. I was fucking pissed. Jen didn't just cheat. She talked about me like I was an obstacle, a problem to be solved. He's clueless, don't worry. Like I was a roommate, not her husband. I want a baby. Everything. With him? Not me. That's when I decided. I wasn't just going to divorce her. I wasn't going to confront her and have some screaming match where she'd cry and promise to change and we'd go to therapy and she'd cheat again in a year. I was going to make sure she could never claim that baby was mine if she got pregnant. I was going to create irrefutable proof. I wanted a paternity test that would destroy any doubt. And I knew exactly how to guarantee it. A vasectomy. The plan. The idea came to me at 3 a.m. on September 12th. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, Jen asleep next to me. She'd taken a shower when she got home from working late. Another hotel meetup, probably. She smelled like sex and soap and lies. And I thought, what if she gets pregnant? We'd been trying for 5 years. Nothing. Tests showed no issues. Just hadn't happened yet. Doctors said to keep trying, it would happen eventually. But what if it happened now? While she was sleeping with both of us, she'd claim it was mine. Of course she would. We were married, living together, still occasionally intimate when she wasn't too tired. There'd be plausible deniability. It must be Tom's. We've been trying for years. And I'd be trapped, raising Dave's kid, paying for Dave's kid, while everyone thought it was mine. Unless it was medically impossible for me to father a child. Unless I had proof, medical documentation, that any pregnancy couldn't be mine. Then there'd be no ambiguity, no maybe. No DNA test margin of error to argue about. Just cold, scientific, irrefutable fact. 0% mine. The vasectomy had to be secret. If Jen knew, she'd be careful. She'd use protection with Dave every time. She'd make sure not to get pregnant until after the divorce. But if she didn't know, if she thought I could still get her pregnant, if she got pregnant and I knew it couldn't be mine, that paternity test would be the smoking gun, the nuclear option, the irrefutable proof that would destroy any attempt at plausible deniability. I spent the next 3 days researching vasectomy procedures, recovery time, success rates. How soon after the procedure would I be sterile? 8 to 12 weeks needed a sperm count test to confirm. How much did it cost? $800, $1,500, depending on the clinic. Could I do it without Jen knowing? Yes, if I lied about where I was going. Side effects? Minor swelling, some discomfort, back to normal activities within a week. Reversal possible? Yes, but expensive and not always successful. I'd cross that bridge if I ever wanted kids with someone else someday. I found this quote on a forum from a guy who'd done the same thing. The best revenge isn't getting even. It's creating a situation where they destroy themselves with their own lies. That became my mantra. September 15th, I called a urologist's office, Dr. James Peterson, 30 minutes away in the next town over. No chance of running into anyone we knew. I'd like to schedule a consultation for a vasectomy. Of course. Can I ask your age and whether you have children? 33, no children. Have you discussed this with your partner? Deep breath. My wife is having an affair. If she gets pregnant, I need to know definitively it's not mine. Silence on the other end. Then, I understand. I'm very sorry you're going through this. We can see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. I told Jen I had a physical for our insurance. You know how they require annual checkups now for the policy discount. Oh, right. Good idea. Want me to come with? Nah, it's just boring blood work and questions. I'll be back by dinner. She kissed me goodbye. Love you. Yep. I couldn't say it back anymore. The consultation was straightforward. Dr. Peterson was maybe 48, calm demeanor, had probably seen everything. You're sure about this? He asked. This is considered permanent. I'm sure. My wife is having an affair with her coworker. I have proof. Texts, phone records, hotel receipts. If she gets pregnant, I need to know 100% it's not mine. I need that certainty for my own sanity and for the divorce. He nodded slowly. I understand. And for what it's worth, I'm sorry you're going through this. Just make sure it works, Doc. The procedure itself takes about 20 minutes. Local anesthesia. You'll be tender for a few days, but back to normal activities within a week. We'll do a sperm count test at 8 weeks and 12 weeks to confirm success. Once you're at 0, you're sterile. Perfect. When can we do it? How's October 12th? 3 weeks away. I could wait 3 weeks. Let's do it. The performance. From September 15th to October 12th, I became an actor. Every morning, I kissed Jen goodbye, asked about her day, listened to her lies with a smile, cooked dinner, helped with laundry, watched TV together, went through all the motions of being a devoted husband. We even had sex twice in those 3 weeks. I initiated because that's what trying for a baby meant. That's what normal looked like. If I suddenly stopped, she'd know something was wrong. It made me physically ill afterward. I'd lie there while she fell asleep, staring at the ceiling, feeling like I'd betrayed myself. But it was necessary. For the plan to work, everything had to seem normal. I watched her text Dave right in front of me. She'd smile at her phone, that secret smile. What's funny? I'd ask. Oh, just Sarah being weird. What did she say? Just some meme about her cat. You know how she is. I'd laugh, nod, file it away. One more lie for the mental spreadsheet. Some nights Jen would come home late, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., from late meetings or team dinners or happy hours. I'd have dinner waiting. "How was your day, babe?" She'd lie. I'd listen, take mental notes. Here's what she didn't know during this time. I had consulted with Robert Anderson, a divorce attorney my buddy Mike recommended. Shark of a lawyer. Specializes in high conflict cases. I'd paid him $500 for an initial consultation, told him everything. He advised me to document everything, but not confront yet. "The vasectomy is smart," he'd said. "Controversial, but smart. If she gets pregnant, you have irrefutable proof of adultery. No judge will give her anything in the divorce." I had separated our finances, opened a new checking account Jen didn't know about, started having my paycheck split, half to our joint account, half to my secret account, built up a cushion, $8,000 over 3 weeks. I had already changed my will. Jen was no longer the beneficiary. Everything now went to my sister, Rachel. Rachel was the only person I told. Needed someone to know in case something happened to me. She was an ICU nurse, seen some shit, wasn't easily shocked. But even she was shocked. "You're getting a vasectomy to trap her. To prove the truth. If she gets pregnant, I'll know it's not mine. No ambiguity." "Tom, that's dark. She's been fucking her coworker for 6 months, planning a future with him, while I was home playing the good husband. That's dark." Rachel couldn't argue with that, but to Jen, I was just her oblivious, boring, predictable husband. Going to work, coming home, being supportive, being us. October 12th, 2023, the day of the procedure. "Don't forget, I have my physical today," I told Jen at breakfast. "Oh, right. That's this afternoon?" "Yeah, 2 p.m. Might be a while. You know how doctor's offices are. I'll probably grab dinner on the way home." "Okay, I'll probably work late anyway. This project is killing me." "What project?" "Just HR stuff, policy updates." "Right. Well, don't work too hard." She kissed me goodbye. "Love you." I drove to Dr. Peterson's office, signed in, waited in a sterile exam room, changed into a gown that opened in the front, felt absurd and vulnerable and certain all at once. Dr. Peterson came in. "Ready? Let's do it." The procedure was exactly as described. Local anesthesia, a couple of shots that stung like hell. Then pressure, some pulling, the smell of cauterized tissue. 22 minutes start to finish. "You'll be tender for a few days," Dr. Peterson said. "Ice and ibuprofen. Avoid heavy lifting. No sex for at least a week." "Trust me, that won't be a problem." "We'll do a sperm count test at 8 weeks. Need to confirm you're at 0 before you're sterile. Until then, technically, you could still father a child." "I'll be careful." I went home, told Jen the physical took forever. Blood work, questions about family history, lecture about my cholesterol, you know how it is. "Poor baby. Want me to make dinner?" "Nah, already ate. Think I'll just watch TV and go to bed early." For the next week, I walked carefully. Ice pack hidden in the freezer behind the frozen peas. Ibuprofen bottles in my car. Jen never noticed. We didn't have sex that week anyway. She was too tired. November 20th, 8 weeks post-procedure, I went back for the sperm count test. December 4th, 12 weeks post-procedure, second test to confirm. Both came back the same, 0 sperm count. I was officially sterile, medically incapable of fathering a child. The trap was set. Now I just had to wait. The shift. Late November, something inside me couldn't keep up the perfect act anymore. I stopped initiating affection. When Jen would kiss me, I'd turn my head slightly so she got my cheek instead of my lips. When she'd text during the day, "Love you, hope you're having a good day," I'd reply hours later, "You too." No exclamation point, no emoji. I started going to the gym after work. Needed to do something with the rage. lifting weights, running, punching the heavy bag until my knuckles were raw. Coming home at 7:30 p.m. instead of 5:45 p.m., Jen noticed. "You're working out a lot lately." "Yeah, just trying to stay healthy, for when we have kids." The irony wasn't lost on me. I started sleeping on my side of the bed with a pillow barrier between us. No touching, no cuddling. She'd reach for me in the middle of the night. I'd shift away. Made dinner for myself before she got home from her late meetings. When she walked in at 8 p.m., I'd barely look up from my plate. "Food's in the fridge if you want it." "Are you mad at me about something?" "Nope, just tired." "Tom, you've been acting weird for weeks. What's going on?" "Nothing's going on. I'm fine." But I wasn't fine, and she knew it. The irony? Jen started trying harder, wore lingerie to bed. Lingerie I'd never seen before, probably bought for Dave. I pretended to be asleep, cooked my favorite meal, her famous lasagna. I said I'd already eaten, suggested a date night. I said I had plans with Mike. She was confused, hurt even, would try to initiate conversations about us. "I feel like we're drifting apart." "Maybe we are." "Don't you care?" "I don't know, Jen. Do you?" She'd get defensive. "Of course I care. You're my husband." "Right. Your husband." December rolled in. Jen was panicking now. I could see it. The questions got more frequent, more desperate. "Who are you texting?" "Mike." "You've been hanging out with Mike a lot." "Yeah, he's a good friend. Problem with that?" "No, it's just you're always gone now." "Interesting. What's it like when someone you love is always gone?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. I'm going out." "Where?" "Out." I'd come home at 10 p.m. She'd be waiting up, anxious, sitting on the couch, pretending to watch TV, but really watching the door. "Where were you?" "I told you, out." "Out where, Tom?" Just drove around, cleared my head. Why, what's wrong? By early December, Jen started accusing me of cheating. "Are you seeing someone?" "Why would you ask that?" "Because you're different. Distant, you're never home, you're always on your phone." The projection was almost funny. "Jen, I'm not cheating on you." "Then why are you acting like this?" "Maybe I'm just tired. Tired of trying so hard for something that might never happen." That made her cry. "Don't say that. We'll have a baby. I know we will." "Yeah, we will." "Oh, Jen, you have no idea how right you are." The pregnancy, December 8th, 2023, Friday morning, 6:15 a.m. I heard Jen in the bathroom, then a gasp, then silence. "Tom! Tom!" I got up, walked to the bathroom. She was standing there in her pajamas holding a pregnancy test, both hands shaking, 2 pink lines. "Oh my God, Tom, oh my God." She started crying, happy crying, threw her arms around me. "We're pregnant. After 5 years, we're finally pregnant." I pulled her into a hug, felt her shaking against me, heard her sobbing into my shoulder, and I felt nothing, no joy, no excitement, no hope, just cold, calculated certainty. That baby wasn't mine. "This is amazing," I said. My voice sounded distant to my own ears, like someone else was speaking. "I can't believe it. After everything, after all this time." "I know. It's great." She pulled back, looked at me, searched my face. "Are you happy?" "Of course. Just shocked, you know?" "Me too. I need to call the doctor, schedule an appointment. Oh my God, we need to tell your parents, and mine, and..." "Maybe we wait," I interrupted, "just until the first appointment. Make sure everything's okay. A lot can happen in the first trimester." She paused. "Right. Yeah. You're right. We'll wait." But she couldn't contain it. Spent the whole weekend researching baby names, looking at nursery furniture online, downloading pregnancy apps. I watched her, pretending to be excited, making appropriate comments. While inside, I was counting down 8.5 months until the baby would be born. But I wasn't waiting that long. NIPT test, non-invasive prenatal testing, blood draw from Jen. Could be done as early as 9 weeks. would tell us genetic information about the baby and confirm paternity. December 10th, I brought it up casually over dinner. I've been thinking about genetic testing. Jen looked up from her phone. What? NFT. It screens for genetic abnormalities, Down syndrome, trisomy, all that stuff. My dad's side has a history of genetic conditions, heart issues, diabetes, that kidney thing his uncle had. Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. It's just a blood draw from you. Super safe. Can do it at 9 weeks. And as a bonus, it does paternity confirmation, all from the same test. I watched her face carefully. She went very still. Paternity confirmation? Yeah, it's part of the panel. Not the main thing, genetic screening is, but they test fetal DNA against both parents for medical records, birth certificate, that kind of thing. Jen set down her fork. Why would we need paternity confirmation? It's not that we need it, it's just included in the test. And I figured since we're doing the genetic screening anyway, we'd have that documentation. You know how I am about having all the paperwork in order. She was quiet for too long, her coffee cup frozen halfway to her lips. Isn't that... do we really need that? Obviously the baby is yours. We've been trying for 5 years. Obviously, so what's the problem with confirming it? It's literally just a blood test. They take your blood anyway for the genetic screening. It feels like you don't trust me. The audacity. I kept my voice calm, reasonable. Jen, it has nothing to do with trust. It's about complete medical records, family history, being thorough. Why are you so against it? I'm not against it. It just seems unnecessary. Is it unnecessary? Or are you worried about something? Her eyes flashed. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Nothing. I'm just asking why you're so defensive about a routine medical test. I'm not defensive. I just think if we're married and been trying for 5 years, we should trust each other without needing a test to prove our baby is ours. Trust goes both ways, Jen. Silence. She looked at me, really looked, like she was seeing me for the first time in months, trying to figure out if I knew, trying to read my face. I kept it neutral, concerned husband, nothing more. Finally, she sighed. Fine, schedule the test. Whatever makes you feel better. Thank you. I'll call Dr. Martinez tomorrow. She went upstairs without another word. I heard the bedroom door close, hard. I sat in the kitchen staring at my cold dinner. She took the bait. In her mind, she was probably thinking, there's a chance it's Tom's. We've had sex a few times recently. Used protection with Dave sometimes. Maybe it's Tom's. Maybe I'm worrying for nothing. But I knew better. I knew with 100% medical certainty that baby wasn't mine. The company dinner, December 22nd, at the annual holiday party at Riverside Steakhouse. Tech Vision Solutions, fancy end-of-year celebration. Employees and their partners welcome. Open bar, prime rib, live jazz band. The works. Last year I'd gone, met some of Jen's colleagues, had a nice time. Boring, but pleasant. This year, Jen seemed nervous about me coming. You don't have to go if you don't want to, she said while getting ready. Changed outfits 3 times, checked her makeup 6 times. That expensive perfume again. Actually, I'd love to go. Celebrate your big news with your work family. Her face fell for just a second, recovered quickly. Oh, great. Yeah, that'll be nice. We arrived at 6:45 p.m. The private room was already filling up, maybe 50 people. Dim lighting, holiday decorations, that corporate party energy where everyone's drinking just enough to be social, but not enough to embarrass themselves at work Monday. And there he was, Dave Collins, tall, maybe 6'2". Good looking in that generic corporate way, fitted suit, expensive watch, that practice sales director charm oozing from every pore. He was talking to a group of colleagues, laughing at someone's joke, confident, comfortable, completely unaware that in exactly 13 days, I'd be requesting a paternity test that would destroy his life. He saw us. His face went white for just a second, barely noticeable, but I noticed. Recovered fast, smiled, walked over. Jen, and you must be Tom. Great to finally meet you. Extended his hand. I shook it, firm grip, looked him right in the eye. Dave, Jen talks about you all the time. Was that fear in his eyes? Hard to tell. All good things, I hope. He laughed, nervous energy underneath the smooth exterior. Oh, very good things. She says you're an excellent mentor. Really helped her settle into the role. Just trying to help the team succeed. That's what we do here. I'm sure you do. Jen looked like she might vomit. Couldn't make eye contact with either of us. The dinner progressed. Speeches from the CEO. Holiday bonuses announced. Awards for top performers. Dave won Sales Director of the Year. Got a plaque and a $5,000 bonus. Everyone applauded. Jen and I sat at a table with her colleagues. She barely ate. Kept checking her phone under the table. Probably texting Dave. He was 3 tables over, glancing our way every few minutes. After dinner, during the mingling portion, Jen stood up. I have an announcement, she said, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. People quieted down, turned to look. She took my hand, squeezed it. Her palm was sweating. Tom and I are expecting our first baby. The room erupted. Applause. Congratulations. People coming over to hug us, shake my hand, pat my back. Oh my God, congrats. Finally, I know you guys have been trying. This is amazing news. Everyone was genuinely happy for us. Good people who had no idea they were celebrating a lie. I watched Dave across the room. His face was carefully neutral, but his jaw was tight. His hands clenched around his drink. He knew. He had to know there was a chance that baby was his. After about 20 minutes of congratulations, Dave approached. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. He'd been drinking heavily. He clapped me on the shoulder. Too hard, too familiar. Congrats, man. That's amazing. Really happy for you guys. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. He leaned in closer. That smile. That fucking smile. How does it feel? His voice had an edge to it, a challenge underneath the friendly exterior. How does what feel? You know, after trying for so long, finally gonna be a dad? He took a sip of his drink. Must be incredible. After all that time, all that effort. The question hung in the air. I saw it for what it was. The double meaning. The layers. How does it feel to finally be a father after 5 years? How does it feel knowing I got your wife pregnant? How does it feel to be raising my kid, you oblivious chump? Everyone around us was smiling, thinking it was just a friendly colleague asking a normal question about impending fatherhood. But Dave and I both knew what he was really asking. I looked at him, really looked, held his gaze, and I smiled. Cold, knowing, controlled. It feels, revealing, I said slowly. Very revealing, like everything's about to become crystal clear. Dave's smirk faltered. What? The whole experience, trying for so long, the process, the testing, it's all very scientific, medical, precise. I leaned in slightly, lowered my voice so only he could hear. You learn a lot about biology, about what's possible and what isn't, about DNA, about numbers. His face was starting to drain of color. Numbers don't lie, Dave. Biology doesn't lie, DNA doesn't lie, and very soon everyone's going to know the truth. Excuse me? I patted his shoulder, smiled wider. Congrats on Sales Director of the Year, by the way. That's fantastic. Really fantastic timing for everything. I walked away, left him standing there, confused and clearly unsettled. Found Jen talking to some coworkers. Ready to go? I asked. Already? It's only 9:30. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Long week. We said our goodbyes, got our coats, walked to the car in silence. On the drive home, Jen was quiet, staring out the window. What did Dave say to you? She finally asked. Just congratulations, nice guy. You look happy. I am, Jen. Everything's about to work out exactly how it should. We got home. Jen went straight to bed without saying goodnight. I sat in the living room, in the dark, staring at nothing. replaying Dave's face when he asked, "How does it feel?" That smirk, that confidence, that assumption that he'd won. In 13 days, I was going to wipe that smirk off his face forever. The test, December 25th, Christmas morning. We spent it at my parents' house, traditional Mitchell family Christmas. My mom was overjoyed about the pregnancy. Finally, I'm going to be a grandmother. She immediately started making plans. We'll need to set up a nursery here for when you visit. Oh, and I'll need to learn to knit. Do people still knit baby blankets? My dad was more reserved, but smiled, shook my hand. Proud of you, son. Rachel pulled me aside in the kitchen. How are you holding up? Fine. Tom. I'm fine. Really, this is all going according to plan. That's what worries me. We drove home that evening. Jen fell asleep in the passenger seat, probably exhausted from pretending everything was normal. I glanced over at her. In the dim light from passing street lamps, she looked peaceful, like my wife again, like the woman I married. But that woman was gone, had been gone for months, maybe years. This was just a stranger wearing her face. The next morning, over coffee, I brought it up. I was thinking about that night PT test. We're almost 9 weeks now, right? Jen tensed. Yeah, about that. I'll call Dr. Martinez tomorrow. Schedule it for next week if they have availability. Tom. What? She set down her coffee mug, looked at me. Why are you pushing this so hard? I'm not pushing. I'm being responsible. It's a routine prenatal test. The paternity part isn't routine. It's part of the panel. And like I said, it's good to have for medical records. Or you don't trust me. I met her eyes. Should I? The question hung between us, heavy, loaded. What is that supposed to mean? It means exactly what it sounds like. Should I trust you, Jen? I'm your wife. That's not an answer. She stood up. I can't believe you're doing this. I'm pregnant with your baby after 5 years of trying, and you're interrogating me about a paternity test. Then take the test and prove me wrong. I shouldn't have to prove anything, but you will, because I'm asking you to, and if you refuse, I'll know why. Silence. She stared at me. I stared back. Finally, she grabbed her purse. I need to get some air. Where are you going? Out. The door slammed. I heard her car start, drive away. I sat at the kitchen table, drank my coffee, waited. She came back 2 hours later, red eyes, like she'd been crying. Fine, she said. Schedule the test, whatever you want. Thank you. She went upstairs without another word. The wait, January 10th, 2024, 9 weeks pregnant, OB appointment for the NIP test, simple blood draw, 15 minutes. But those 15 minutes felt like hours. The nurse was cheerful. So excited for you guys. First baby? Yeah, Jen said, voice tight. These tests are amazing now. You'll get all the genetic information, plus confirmation of paternity. She smiled at me. Not that you need that, right? Right, I said. Just good to have for medical records. Jen wouldn't look at me. The nurse took 4 vials of blood, labeled them. Results should be back in 7 to 10 business days. We'll call you as soon as we have them. Can you email them directly to me? I asked. I'm on work calls during the day. Might miss a phone call. Of course, we'll send them to both of you. Actually, just me is fine. I handle all our medical records. Jen shot me a look but didn't argue. We drove home in silence. The next 10 days were the longest of my life. Not because I was anxious about the results, I knew what they'd say, but because I was watching Jen spiral. She couldn't eat. Every meal ended with her pushing food around her plate, then excusing herself. Morning sickness, supposedly, but I'd seen morning sickness. This was different. This was stress. She couldn't sleep. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. and she'd be gone. Find her downstairs, staring at her phone, crying. You okay? Yeah, just pregnancy hormones. She'd lost weight despite being pregnant. Her face was drawn. Dark circles under her eyes. Dave was calling her constantly. Her phone would light up. Dave Collins, and she'd decline the call, or take it in the bathroom, speaking in hushed, urgent tones. I imagine the conversations. What if it's yours? We'll figure it out. But what if he knows? He doesn't know. How could he know? You didn't see his face when he asked you how it felt. He knows something. You're paranoid. I'm pregnant and terrified. January 19th, day 10, 3:15 p.m. Email notification. Your NIPT results are ready. I was at work. Stood up from my desk so fast my chair rolled backward, grabbed my coat, told my boss I had a family emergency, drove to the parking garage, sat in my car, hands shaking, logged into the patient portal on my phone, clicked on the results PDF, scrolled down. Genetic screening, low risk for all tested conditions. Fetal sex, female probability of paternity 0.0%. There it was, black and white, irrefutable, scientific, 0.0%. I sat in my car in that parking garage and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no surprise, just cold, calm certainty. I'd been right all along. I screenshot the results, emailed them to myself, emailed them to Robert Anderson, my attorney. Then I drove home. The confrontation, January 19th, 2024, 6:30 p.m. I pulled into the driveway. Jen's car was already there. I grabbed my laptop, opened it to the results page, left it on the coffee table, screen facing up. Jen? I called out. Can you come down here? She came downstairs, saw my face, knew. The results came in, I said. She went pale. And? Sit down. Tom, you're scaring me. Sit down. She sat on the couch. I stayed standing, positioned myself between her and the door, not threatening, just blocking. Read it, I said. Turned the laptop toward her. She looked at the screen. Her hand went to her mouth. No, this can't be right. Tests make mistakes. This is wrong. It has to be wrong. 99.9% accurate, Jen. Remember what the nurse said? But we've been trying for 5 years. We had sex multiple times. It could be a mistake. It's not a mistake. How do you know? I sat down across from her, calm, cold, in complete control. Want to know why I'm so sure? She was crying now. Tom, please. I got a vasectomy on October 12th, 2023. Time stopped. Her face went through a journey. Confusion, comprehension, horror. You... What? A vasectomy, surgical sterilization. I am medically incapable of fathering a child. Have been since October, 2 months before you got pregnant. But why would you... Because I knew, Jen. I've known since September 5th. I pulled out my phone, opened her iCloud messages that I'd been saving, screenshots, hundreds of them, started reading aloud. Dave, I can't stop thinking about Tuesday night. That was June 23rd. I looked up at her. What happened Tuesday night, Jen? Her face crumbled. Jen, I love you. July 11th. That was the night you told me you were at Sarah's. I kept reading, message after message, their plans, their love confessions, their complaints about their spouses. Dave, Amanda doesn't appreciate what she has. August 2nd. Jen, Tom's getting suspicious. August 19th. Dave, he's clueless. August 19th. I looked up. Clueless. That's what you both thought. That I was too stupid, too trusting, too devoted to notice what was happening right in front of me. Tom, please stop. No, you don't get to make this stop now. You had 6 months to stop. 6 months to tell me the truth. 6 months to end your affair. You didn't. You kept seeing him. You got pregnant with his baby, and you were going to let me think it was mine. I'm so sorry. I pulled out a flash drive from my pocket, held it up. This contains 285 pages of evidence, text messages, phone records, credit card statements showing hotel charges on our joint card, GPS data showing you at those hotels when you said you were working late, screenshots of your conversations, photos, everything. I slid it across the coffee table. That baby you're carrying, It's Dave Collins' child. According to this test that's 99.9% accurate, there is a 0% chance it's mine. And now you have two choices. She was sobbing, hyperventilating, could barely breathe. Choice one, you tell Dave today. You figure out what you're going to do about this pregnancy. You move out of this house voluntarily. We file for divorce amicably, and I keep this evidence private between us and the lawyers. Tom, please, we can work through this. Choice two, you fight me. You claim this evidence is fake or illegally obtained. You try to take half of everything in the divorce. You try to claim I'm lying about the vasectomy, and I make this public. I send this flash drive to your parents, your sister, your friends, your HR department, Dave's wife, Amanda, everyone. You wouldn't. Try me. I leaned forward. That baby is 0% mine. I have medical records from Dr. James Peterson proving I'm sterile. I have texts where you and Dave discuss your affair. I have hotel receipts with your signature. I have GPS proof you lied about your whereabouts. I have witnesses. What witnesses? Sarah, your supposed best friend you've been using as an alibi. I talked to her in November. She had no idea about half the girls' nights you claim to have with her. She's willing to testify. Jen looked like she'd been punched. Jen, you don't have a case. You don't have leverage. You don't have options. You cheated. You got pregnant with another man's child. You tried to commit paternity fraud. Those are the facts, medical facts, legal facts, irrefutable facts. She was shaking, crying so hard she could barely speak. What about our 5 years of trying? What about our life together, everything we built? What about them? You threw them away when you started fucking your coworker, when you told him you wanted a baby, when you discussed leaving me for him, when you made me pay for your hotel rooms on our joint credit card, when you called me clueless. I made a mistake. No. My voice was sharp, final. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is saying something mean in anger. This? I gestured to the laptop, the flash drive, the evidence of 6 months of lies. This was a choice. Hundreds of choices. Every text, every lie, every hotel room, every time you came home smelling like him and let me kiss you goodnight. Every time you let me believe we were trying for our baby when you were fucking him without protection. Silence. She had nothing to say. No defense. No excuse. I'm sleeping at Rachel's tonight. You have until Monday to decide. Talk to Dave. Figure out your next move. But know this. That baby's not mine. This marriage is over and there's nothing you can say or do to change that. I stood up, grabbed my keys. Tom, wait. We're done talking, Jen. Call your lawyer. Call Dave. Call whoever you want. But we're done. I walked out, got in my car, drove to Rachel's house 20 minutes away, sat in her driveway for 30 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, finally letting myself feel. Relief, rage, grief, triumph. All of it hitting me at once like a wave. Then I texted Robert Anderson. She knows. File the paperwork Monday. He replied immediately. Already drafted. We'll file first thing 8 a.m. Monday morning. I went inside. Rachel had wine ready. Didn't say anything. Just hugged me. It's done, I said. How do you feel? Like I just detonated a nuclear bomb, and I'm still standing in the crater watching the fallout. Any regrets? Not yet. Need to talk? Not yet. We sat in silence, drank wine, watched some mindless sitcom rerun. My phone started blowing up around 8 p.m. Jen, 38 missed calls, dozens of texts. Please come home. We need to talk. I'm so sorry. Please don't do this. Think of the baby. The baby that wasn't mine. I blocked her number. Unknown number. This is Dave. We need to talk. Call me. I didn't. Another unknown. Tom, it's Amanda, Dave's wife. Someone sent me something. Is this real? Did this really happen? I called Robert Anderson. Did you send evidence to Dave's wife? I did, as we discussed. We need to establish you acted transparently. You disclosed the affair to the other injured party immediately upon confirmation. It protects you legally if Dave tries to claim harassment. Also," he paused, "she deserved to know." He was right. How did she respond? She called her lawyer. Dave will likely be served divorce papers by end of week. One marriage down. Mine would be officially done Monday, and Dave's would follow shortly after. 3 families destroyed because of an affair, because of lies, because 2 people decided their happiness was worth more than their commitments. That night I slept for 12 hours straight. First good sleep I'd had in months. The fallout, Monday, January 22nd. Robert filed the divorce papers at 8 a.m. Jen was served at work at 10:30 a.m. She called me. I didn't answer. She texted, "They served me at my desk, in front of everyone. How could you?" I replied, "Choice 1 or choice 2. You chose. Deal with the consequences." That was the last text I sent her. Monday afternoon, I got an email from Tech Vision Solutions, HR. "Dear Mr. Mitchell, we're conducting an internal investigation into a matter involving your wife. Would you be willing to provide a statement?" I forwarded it to Robert. "Cooperate," he advised. "Keep it brief and factual." I wrote 1 paragraph. Jennifer Mitchell and David Collins engaged in a workplace affair beginning approximately April 2023. I have documented evidence including text messages, phone records, and hotel receipts charged to our joint credit card. A paternity test dated January 19th, 2024 confirms that Mrs. Mitchell is pregnant with Mr. Collins' child, not mine. I am filing for divorce based on adultery. I'm happy to provide documentation if needed for your investigation. Sent it. Done. Tuesday morning. Amanda Collins, Dave's wife, received the evidence packet Robert had sent. Screenshots of texts between Dave and Jen, the paternity test, hotel receipts, everything. She called me. I let it go to voicemail. "Tom, this is Amanda. I don't even know what to say. Is this real? Did Dave really with your wife? And she's pregnant. I have 2 kids. We've been married 9 years. How could he do this?" She was crying. I felt bad for her. She was collateral damage, innocent bystander caught in the blast radius. But I didn't call back. What could I say? "Sorry my wife fucked your husband?" Tuesday evening, unknown number. I answered. "You son of a bitch." Dave, "Hello to you too." "You ruined my life. Amanda took my kids. I can't see them without supervision. She's taking the house. Everything." "I didn't ruin your life, Dave. You ruined it by fucking a married woman and getting her pregnant." "You sent Amanda that evidence out of spite." "I sent her that evidence so she could make an informed decision about her marriage. Same courtesy I wish someone had given me 6 months ago." Jen is devastated. She's talking about ending the pregnancy. A cold chill went through me. Not my baby, not my problem, but still, a kid. That's between you and her. That's your child, not mine. You deal with it. You're a heartless bastard. I'm a man who got cheated on and responded accordingly. If you didn't want consequences, you shouldn't have fucked my wife. Pretty simple. I loved her. Then you should have waited until she was divorced to start a relationship. But you didn't. You snuck around. You lied. You helped her lie to me. You made your choices. Now live with them. This isn't over. Actually, it is. For you and her. Good luck with the child support. I hear judges aren't sympathetic to affair babies, especially when you've already got 2 kids to support. I hung up, blocked the number. Wednesday, Jen moved out. Rachel went with me to change the locks. Jen left most of her stuff, said she'd come back for it later. The house felt empty, not just because she was gone, but because of what was gone. The illusion, the life we'd pretended to have. Thursday, Sarah Johnson called, Jen's best friend. Is it true, the affair, the pregnancy, the paternity test? Yes. Silence. Then, oh my God, Tom, I had no idea. She used me as an alibi and I didn't even know. I know. I'm sorry you got dragged into this. I feel like such an idiot. All those times she said we hung out and I couldn't remember. I thought I was losing my mind. You're not the idiot here, Sarah. I told her I don't want to talk to her anymore. What she did is unforgivable. You don't have to choose sides. She's going to need friends. Maybe, but I'm not going to be one of them. You deserve better than this. Both of you did. You and Amanda. We talked for a while. She cried. I stayed stoic. Someone had to. Friday. Jen's mom called, screamed at me for 10 minutes straight. How could you destroy her life like this? She's pregnant and you threw her out. What kind of man abandons a baby? The kind whose wife cheated on him for 6 months and got pregnant with another man's child. DNA test doesn't lie. Feel free to ask her for the results. She made a mistake. Marriage is about forgiveness. She didn't make a mistake. She made a choice. Hundreds of them. Every text to Dave, every hotel room, every lie, those were choices, and now she's living with the consequences. She's my daughter, and she's a cheater. That doesn't change just because she's your daughter. She hung up, didn't call back. By the end of the week, everyone knew. Her family, my family, our mutual friends, Jen's coworkers, Dave's coworkers. The story was out there. Jen cheated, got pregnant, tried to pass it off as mine. I proved it wasn't via paternity test. Reactions were mixed. Some people thought I was too harsh. You could have handled this privately. Most people thought I was justified. She got what she deserved. A few people asked if I felt bad about the baby. That's an innocent child being brought into a mess. I feel bad that a child is being born into this situation, but that's not my responsibility. I didn't create this mess. I'm not the father. That's Dave's problem now. That became my line. I stuck to it. The employer strike, February 2024. TechVision Solutions investigation wrapped up. Workplace affairs aren't illegal, but there were policy violations. Big ones. TechVision's handbook was clear. Employees in relationships must disclose to HR, especially if there's any supervisory relationship. Dave was a sales director. Jen was in HR. Different departments, but Dave had indirect influence over promotions and policies that affected Jen's role. What they found: undisclosed relationship violating ethics policy, use of company resources for personal matters, email, company time, fraudulent expense reports, hotels and dinners charged as business that weren't, time theft, both claiming to work late when they were together. February 21st, both were terminated for cause, no severance, effective immediately. Jen called me, hysterical. They fired me, I'm pregnant, and they fired me. How am I supposed to live? Pay bills? You should have thought about that before you risked your career for an affair. I have rights. This is discrimination. Discrimination requires a protected class. Cheating on your husband with a coworker isn't a protected class. You violated company policy, multiple policies. They have documentation. You signed the ethics agreement when you were hired. Talk to a lawyer if you want, but they're going to tell you the same thing I am. How am I supposed to pay rent? Afford prenatal care? I have a baby coming. I assume Dave will help. It's his baby. Dave lost his job too. He can barely afford child support for Tyler and Emma. Again, not my problem. You two created this situation. Figure it out. You're destroying our lives. No, you destroyed your life when you cheated. You destroyed Dave's life when you got pregnant. You destroyed Tyler and Emma's lives when you broke up their parents' marriage. You destroyed Amanda's life when you slept with her husband. I'm just the guy who told the truth. Everything else? That's consequences. I hung up. Later that week, I heard through the grapevine, Dave moved back in with his parents. At 35 years old, career in tech sales damaged, hard to get hired after being fired for ethics violations. Background checks would show the termination. Future employers would ask questions. Jen was working at Target, assistant manager, making maybe $38,000 a year, living in a small apartment her sister helped her afford, less than half her previous salary. The relationship between Jen and Dave? fell apart under pressure. They blamed each other, fought constantly about money, about the baby, about whose fault it was that everything collapsed. By March, they'd broken up. So Jen was pregnant, unemployed, single, and estranged from most of her friends and family. Did I feel bad? A little. Did I regret it? No. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The darkness February through May 2024 was when I fell apart. You'd think after winning, divorce filed, Jen gone, truth exposed, Dave destroyed, I'd feel great. I didn't. The house was too quiet. I'd walk into rooms and see ghosts. The kitchen where we danced while cooking, the living room where we'd planned baby names, the bedroom where we'd held each other through disappointment after disappointment. All of it was tainted now, poisoned by lies. I couldn't sleep in our bed, slept on the couch for 2 months. Eventually bought a new bed, new mattress, new sheets. Didn't help. Still saw her there, heard her voice, remembered the good times that turned out to be lies. I started drinking. Not heavily at first, a couple beers after work, then a 6-pack, then whiskey, straight. No ice. Some nights I'd sit in the garage, door closed, lights off, nursing a glass of Jack Daniels, replaying everything, every lie she told. Every time I kissed her knowing she'd just been with him. Every smile that was fake, every I love you that meant nothing. Work suffered. I was short with colleagues. Snapped at Linda from accounting over a scheduling conflict, missed a client deadline, forgot about meetings. My boss Greg pulled me aside in late March. Tom, you need to talk to someone. I'm fine. You're not fine. You look like hell. You snapped at Linda yesterday. That's not you. The client's asking questions about the missed deadline. I'm going through a divorce. I'm allowed to be off my game. You're allowed to be human, but you need help. The company has an EAP program, therapy, counseling. Use it. Take some time off if you need, but you can't keep going like this. He was right. I looked in the mirror that night, really looked. I'd lost weight, maybe 15 pounds. Had dark circles under my eyes that makeup couldn't hide. Not that I wore makeup, but I looked 10 years older than I had 6 months ago. I'd won the war but lost myself in the process. April 3rd, first therapy session, Dr. Sarah Kim. Nice woman, mid-40s, calm demeanor. Office smelled like lavender, soft lighting, that therapist energy. What brought you here today, Tom? I exposed my wife's affair using a paternity test trap, got her fired, destroyed her relationship with the affair partner, won the divorce, but I don't feel like I won. She nodded, didn't look shocked, probably heard worse. Tell me about the trap. So I did. The discovery, the vasectomy, the waiting, the pregnancy, the test, the confrontation, all of it. When I finished, she asked, "Do you regret it?" No. Then why are you here? Because I'm angry all the time at everyone, at everything. I can't sleep, can't eat, can't focus on work. I thought revenge would fix me. It didn't. It just ended things, but I'm still broken. Maybe more broken than before. That's when I started crying. First time I'd cried in front of someone who wasn't family, just broke down, sobbing, couldn't stop. Dr. Kim handed me tissues, waited patiently. Didn't try to make me stop or feel better, just let me feel it. Revenge closes a chapter, she said when I finally caught my breath. But it doesn't heal the wound. That takes different work. Over the next few months we worked on it. The anger, the betrayal trauma. Yes, that's a real thing. The hypervigilance from months of investigation, the guilt about the baby, the question of whether I'd gone too far. But May was bad, real bad. May 15th, Wednesday night, 11:30 p.m. I was in my garage, couple drinks in, staring at my car, and I thought, how easy would it be to just not be here anymore? Start the car, close the garage door, fall asleep, never wake up. No more pain, no more anger, no more betrayal replaying in my head like a movie I couldn't turn off. Just peace. I sat there for 12 minutes, seriously considering it, my hand on the key in the ignition. The only thing that stopped me was thinking about Rachel, having to find me, having to identify the body, having to tell our parents. That image, Rachel's face when she found me, scared me more than anything Jen had done. The fact that I'd even considered it, that I'd gotten that close. I called Rachel, midnight. I need help. She came over, didn't ask questions, just stayed, slept on my couch, made sure I wasn't alone. Next day, emergency therapy session, Dr. Kim increased our frequency to twice a week. Started me on Zoloft, 50 milligrams to start, diagnosed with major depression and PTSD. Your body went through trauma, she explained. Betrayal trauma is real, measurable. Brain scans show it activates the same regions as physical injury. And then you spent 10 months in high alert mode, investigating, planning, executing revenge. You were in fight or flight constantly. Your nervous system is crashing now that the threat is gone. You're not in danger anymore, but your body doesn't know that. So what do? You heal. Slowly, painfully. It's not linear. Some days will be good. Some will be terrible. But you heal. And you learn that revenge doesn't undo trauma. It just adds complexity to it. I don't regret what I did. I know. And that's okay. But you cannot regret your actions and still recognize they took a toll on you. Both things can be true. I started running every morning, 6 a.m., 5 miles. Not for fitness, for sanity. When I ran, I couldn't think. Just breathe, just move, just exist. It helped a little. The Zoloft helped a little. Therapy helped a little. But mostly I just survived, one day at a time. June came, then July. The darkness started to lift. Not gone, just lighter. I was healing, slowly, painfully, but healing. Meeting Lisa, September 2024, 15 months after discovering the affair. I wasn't looking to date, wasn't ready, still in therapy twice a month. Still working through trust issues, still had nights where I'd dream about finding those texts and wake up in a cold sweat. But life has a funny way. I was at the gym, my 6 a.m. routine I'd kept since the darkness. Headphones in, zoning out on the treadmill, trying not to think. A woman got on the treadmill next to mine, early 30s, fit, ponytail, looked vaguely familiar. She glanced over, did a double take. Tom Mitchell? I pulled out my headphones. Yeah. It's Lisa Parker. We went to state together. Different years, but same marketing program. I think we had Professor Hendrix's seminar together in 2013. I remembered vaguely. Blonde girl, always sat in the front row, asked good questions. Oh, wow, yeah. Lisa. Hi, how have you been? I've been okay. I heard about... She trailed off. Awkward. I mean, I saw on Facebook about your divorce. I'm sorry. It's fine. Well, not fine, but I'm getting through it. How about you? Similar boat, actually. Divorced last year. Found out my ex was cheating with someone from his gym. She laughed bitterly. Cliché, right? Jesus, I'm sorry. Thanks. It's whatever. I'm past the angry phase now. Currently in the working out aggressively at 6 a.m. to avoid my feelings phase. I laughed. First genuine laugh in weeks. Same. Nothing like running away from your problems, literally. Exactly. We ended up getting coffee after the gym. Just as friends, no expectations, both of us too damaged for anything else, but we kept running into each other. Same gym, same time, same machines. After the 5th coincidence, we started timing it. Meeting up, running together, getting coffee after. We talked about our divorces, our betrayals, our therapy breakthroughs and setbacks, our struggles with trust. She'd been through something similar, found texts on his phone, confronted him. He gaslit her for months. You're crazy, you're paranoid, you're insecure, before finally admitting it when she found hotel receipts. The worst part, she said one morning over coffee, is losing your ability to trust your own judgment. Like I knew something was wrong. My gut was screaming at me, but he made me feel crazy for noticing. So now I second guess everything. Same. I have evidence, proof, a fucking paternity test showing 0% match. And sometimes I still wonder if I overreacted. You didn't. Neither did you. We sat in comfortable silence, understanding each other in a way most people couldn't. After 6 weeks of these coffee meetups, I asked if she wanted to have actual dinner, like a date. Are you asking me on a date? Maybe? I don't know. I'm terrible at this. Haven't dated in almost 9 years. She smiled. I'll go to dinner with you, but fair warning, I'm a mess. Still dealing with trust issues, still seeing my therapist every week, still have days where I cry over the betrayal, even though I know he wasn't worth it. Same. Maybe we can be messes together? That's the worst pickup line I've ever heard. I know. Did it work? Unfortunately, yes. Building something new. We took it slow. Really, really slow. First few dates were just dinner and talking about our exes, yes, but also about other things. Books, movies, work, family, normal stuff. She was a graphic designer, freelance. Loved her job, but hated the feast or famine nature of it. Had a cat named Pixel. Liked hiking. Terrible at cooking. Binged crime documentaries. After 6 weeks, we kissed. In a parking lot after dinner. Awkward. We both laughed about how rusty we were. That was terrible, I offered. I was going to say nice, but yeah, also terrible. Want to try again? The second kiss was better. By November, we were officially together, changed our relationship status on Facebook and everything. Felt like high school, but in a good way. My therapist asked, "How does this feel different from your marriage?" Honest, we're both fucked up and we're not pretending otherwise. She knows about the affair, the vasectomy, the paternity trap, all of it. I told her on our third date. Expected her to run. She didn't. How does that feel? Terrifying and hopeful, like maybe I can trust someone again someday. Lisa and I had our first real fight in January 2025. She'd gone to dinner with a guy from work, Marcus, didn't mention it beforehand. I saw it on her Instagram story, her and some guy at a restaurant laughing. I shut down, full panic mode, called her. Who's Marcus? What? The guy in your Instagram story, who is he? Oh, that's Marcus Chen from the design agency I freelance for. We grabbed dinner after a client meeting. Why? My chest got tight. You didn't tell me. I didn't think to tell you. It was just work. What's wrong? What's wrong is I had to find out from Instagram that you were having dinner with another guy. Silence on her end. Then, Tom, Marcus is gay and engaged to his boyfriend of 5 years. I didn't mention it because it literally doesn't mean anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you worried I'm cheating on you? I don't know. Maybe, yes. Tom, look at me. We were on FaceTime. She held the camera close to her face. I'm not her. I'm not Jen. I will never do what she did to you. How do I know that? You don't. That's what trust is. A leap of faith without a safety net. But I can promise you this. If I ever feel like this relationship isn't working, I'll tell you. I'll break up with you honestly. I will never, ever cheat. That's a boundary I will never cross because I know exactly what it feels like to be on the receiving end. She was right. I had to choose. Be controlled by my past or build a new future. I chose the future. I'm sorry. That was my shit, not yours. I get it, but you have to trust me or this won't work. She was right about that too. By March 2025, 15 months after meeting Lisa at the gym, I was happy. Actually happy, not because she fixed me, but because I'd done the work to fix myself. The therapy, the medication, the running, the healing. She was just a wonderful bonus. Full circle April 2025, I took Lisa to Riverside Steakhouse, the place where the company dinner had been, where Dave asked, "How does it feel?" "Are you sure about this?" she asked in the car. You have history here. I need to make new memories, replace the old ones with better ones. We had a great night, laughed, held hands across the table. Didn't think about Jen or Dave or that night once. As we were leaving, the bartender stopped me. Same guy who'd served drinks at the company party. Hey, you're Tom, right? Oh no. Yeah. I remember you from that company thing back in December 2023, I think. That was a hell of a night. You have a good memory. Hard to forget. I heard what happened after. With your wife and that Dave guy, everyone at the company was talking about it for weeks. He shook his head. Man, that's rough. I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm good now. I gestured to Lisa. Better than good. I'm glad, man. You seemed like a decent guy. You deserve to be happy. Thanks. I appreciate that. I tipped him well. 50%, May 2025. Rachel's birthday party at my parents' house. I brought Lisa, introduced her to everyone. My parents loved her. My mom was already planning our wedding in her head, I could tell. As we were leaving, I saw Jen. She was walking out of the grocery store across the street. I'd parked nearby. She looked different, thinner, hair shorter, tired, pushing a stroller with a baby. Emma, presumably, now 9 months old. She saw me, froze. Then she saw Lisa holding my hand. Her face did something complicated, grief, regret, acceptance, all at once. She approached slowly, hesitant. Tom, Jen, can we talk, just for a minute? I looked at Lisa. She squeezed my hand. I'll wait in the car. Jen and I stood in the parking lot, awkward, painful, the first time we'd been this close in over a year. I'm sorry, she said, voice quiet. For everything. I know that doesn't fix anything. I know you'll probably never forgive me, but I need you to know that I destroyed our marriage, our life, everything we built, and I live with that every day. I looked at her, really looked. She was sincere, broken, but sincere. I appreciate you saying that. I hope you're doing okay. I'm managing, working at Target. It's fine. Taking care of Emma. She glanced at the stroller. Trying to rebuild my relationship with my family. That's good. She needs her mom. You're with someone new. Not a question. A statement. I am. Are you happy? Very. She smiled, sad but genuine. I'm glad. You deserve to be happy. I'm sorry I couldn't be the one to make you happy. Jen, I chose my words carefully. We're not friends. We're never going to be. But I don't hate you anymore. I'm just done. And I hope you find peace. Thank you. That means more than you know. She hesitated. Can I ask, do you ever think about what could have been if I hadn't? Sometimes, but it doesn't matter. What happened, happened. We can't go back. And honestly, I don't think I'd want to. Not anymore. She nodded. I understand. Take care, Tom. You too, Jen. I walked away, got in the car with Lisa. You okay? She asked. Yeah, that was closure. Finally. How does it feel? I smiled. Revealing. Very revealing. Present day, June 2025, 2 years and 3 months after discovering the affair. Status updates. Me. Engaged to Lisa as of last week. Wedding planned for October. Small ceremony. Close friends and family only. My therapist says I'm remarkably well-adjusted considering. Still have bad days, but they're rare now. Lisa. Moving in together next month. Her lease is up and it makes sense. Taking it slow, but moving forward. She's been good for me. Patient, understanding. Doesn't let me wallow, but doesn't push too hard either. Jen, last I heard through the grapevine, still working at Target. Got promoted to store manager, making maybe $52,000 now, raising Emma as a single mom. Dave sends child support, $800 a month, court-ordered, but wants nothing to do with either of them. She's living with her sister still to save money. Relationship improving slowly. I genuinely hope she's okay. Not my problem anymore, but I'm not a monster. She made mistakes. She's paying for them. That's enough. Dave, no idea. Don't care. Last I heard he moved to Arizona. Good riddance. Amanda, remarried to a guy named Tom, coincidentally. High school teacher. Good guy by all accounts. Tyler and Emma, Dave's kids with her, are doing well. She's happy. She deserved better than Dave. Glad she found it. Rachel, still my rock. Maid of honor at the wedding, keeps threatening to embarrass me in her speech. I believe her. Life isn't perfect. I still see Dr. Kim every other week. Still take Zoloft daily. Still have moments where I think about the affair, the betrayal, the paternity test. Still have flashbacks to reading those texts, seeing the 0.0% result, the look on Jen's face when I told her about the vasectomy. But I'm here. I'm healing. I'm building something new with someone who respects me, who's honest with me, who understands trauma because she's lived it too. And that's enough. More than enough. It's everything. Epilogue. If you've made it this far, thank you. This was heavy, complicated, messy. Some of you will say I went too far, that the vasectomy trap was manipulative, that I should have just divorced her quietly, that destroying both their careers was excessive revenge. Maybe you're right. My therapist says revenge doesn't heal. She's not wrong, but I don't regret it. Not the vasectomy, not the paternity test, not sending the evidence to Amanda, not cooperating with TechVision's investigation. Why? Because Jen didn't just cheat. She planned a future with Dave. She got pregnant with his child. She was going to let me raise that child thinking it was mine. That's not a mistake. That's calculated deception. That deserved consequences. Do I regret the impact on Emma, the innocent baby in all this? Every single day. Would I do it differently knowing what I know now? Maybe. Probably. I might have been less scorched earth about the employment thing. That was petty in hindsight, but the core of it, the vasectomy, the paternity test, the divorce, the truth, I'd do that exactly the same way. Lessons learned. Trust your gut. I knew something was wrong in August. Should have confronted then instead of waiting, but then I wouldn't have had proof. Double-edged sword. Evidence is everything. Without documentation, it's he said, she said. With it, it's irrefutable. Biology doesn't lie. DNA tests are 99.9% accurate. Can't argue with science. Revenge closes chapters but doesn't heal wounds. You need therapy for that. Medication, time, work. Your first marriage doesn't define you. You can heal. You can trust again. You can love again. It just takes time. Some people will judge you no matter what. Do what's right for you and accept that not everyone will understand. Innocent people suffer in affairs, kids, spouses, families. No one walks away unscathed. Remember that before you cheat. 2. The betrayed. You'll survive this. It won't feel like it at first. You'll want to die. You'll cry until you're empty. You'll rage until you're exhausted. You'll question everything about yourself. But you'll survive. And eventually, you'll heal. And one day, maybe not soon, but someday, you'll be happy again. I promise. To the cheaters, your partner might know. They might be documenting everything right now, building a case, preparing for the moment when you think you're safe. Every text can be screenshot. Every lie can be documented. Every hotel stay leaves a receipt. Biology doesn't lie. DNA doesn't lie. And when it all comes out, and it always comes out, don't say you weren't warned. The truth always surfaces. Always. Final thought. Dave asked me at that company dinner, how does it feel? He thought he was taunting me. Thought he'd won. Thought I was the clueless husband raising his kid. Now, 2 years later, I can answer honestly. It feels like waking up from a nightmare. It feels like surviving a war. It feels like earning peace through fire. It feels revealing. Everything came to light. The lies, the truth, who people really were underneath their masks. And now I know. I know what I'm capable of when pushed. I know what I deserve. I know what I won't tolerate. I know that I can be broken and still put myself back together. I know that revenge doesn't heal, but truth does. And I know that happiness is possible again, even after everything falls apart. How does it feel? It feels like surviving, and that's enough. Peace.